Tesla once dominated the electric vehicle market, but in 2026, something changed. For the first time in years, Tesla is no longer the fastest growing company in the world. And the reason might shock you. For over a decade, Tesla defined what an electric car should be. Long range, futuristic design, supercharger network, autopilot technology. Under the leadership of Elon Musk, Tesla became the symbol of the EV revolution. But dominance never lasts forever. Chinese automaker BYD has been expanding aggressively. Lower prices.
Get this, Tesla just posted its first ever annual review decline. Not a slowdown in growth, not we didn't hit our targets, an actual contraction. The company made less money in 2025 than it did in 2024. And that is not even the most brutal part.
I think the cost of autonomous transport will be so low that you can think of it like individualized mass transit. So yes, and you will be able to buy one. And we expect the cost to be below $30,000.
That's Elon Musk, the richest person on the planet, the man who promised you 50% annual growth. The man who said that Tesla wasn't a car company anymore, it was an AI company, a robotics company, a robotaxi company. The man who said the cars didn't matter because the future was autonomous. The cars matter. The cars are 73% off Tesla's revenue, and people have stopped buying them. So here's what the future of Tesla actually looks like. Let's start with the headline numbers. January 28th, 2026, Tesla's Q4 earning report. Full year revenue, $94.8 billion, down from $97.7 billion in 2024. That is the first annual revenue decline in the company's history. And Q4 specifically, net income collapsed 61% from $2.1 billion to $840 million. 61%. In a single quarter. And vehicle deliveries, the number that actually tells you if people want to buy your product, dropped by 9% globally. 1.63 million cars, down from 1.79 million. Their second consecutive year off decline. Once is a bad year. Twice in a row tells you where this is heading. But here's what makes this worse. This isn't happening because the EV market is shrinking. The EV market is actually growing. It's growing quite fast, in fact. Tesla is shrinking inside of a growing market. They're losing ground while their competitors gain it. BYD, the Chinese automaker, just overtook Tesla as the world's largest EV manufacturer, 2.26 million vehicles in 2025. Tesla sold 1.63 million. That gap is going to widen even further, and I'll explain why in just a moment. For now, let's talk about Europe, because Europe is where you can see the future, and the future is ugly. Full year 2025, Tesla sales dropped 28% across Europe, in a market where EV sales grew 27%. Let me say that again. The European EV market expanded by more than a quarter. Tesla's sales collapsed by more than a quarter. That is catastrophic. In Germany, Tesla's former growth engine in Europe, the country where they built a gigafactory, sales crashed 48%, nearly in half, from 37,500 vehicles to a little over 19,000. And here's the thing that should terrify Tesla's investors. Compared to Tesla's peak in Germany in 2022, they're down 72%. Almost 3/4 of their German market gone in just 3 years. France, down 38%. Sweden, down 67%. Belgium, down 53%. The only European market where Tesla grew was Norway. And that is because Norway is changing its EV incentives in 2026 to exclude expensive vehicles. So everyone rushed to buy before the deadline. That demand is what pulled it forward. It's not coming back. Norway will crater for Tesla in 2026. This is what brand collapse looks like. So, why is this happening? Well, it's not hard to imagine why. There are 3 broad reasons, and none of them are going to go away. First, the cars are old. The Model S launched in 2012, the Model X in 2015, the Model 3 in 2017, the Model Y in 2020. Tesla has been selling the same basic vehicles for years, while competitors have flooded the market with newer, cheaper, often better alternatives. There are now over 150 EV models on sale in Europe. 50 more are coming in 2026. Tesla's lineup looks dated, because it is dated. Second, they cancelled the cheapest car. For years, Musk promised a $25,000 Tesla, a mass market vehicle that would bring EVs to everyone. The car was supposed to be Tesla's second growth wave, and it doesn't exist. Musk killed it to focus on robotaxis instead. So while BYD sells affordable EVs to hundreds of millions of potential customers across Asia, Europe, and South America, Tesla is stuck selling premium vehicles to a shrinking pool of buyers who can afford them, in a cost of living crisis. And third, as you'll know, this is the big one, Elon Musk has become toxic. I need to show you the numbers. These are from Brand Finance, released January 27th, 2026. Tesla brand value in January 2023, $66.2 billion. The next year, $58.3 billion. The next year, $43 billion. And 2026, $27.6 billion. That's a decline of $15.4 billion in a single year. 36% of their brand value evaporated. Third consecutive year off decline. They've lost more than half their brand value since 2023. The recommendation score in the US, how likely customers are to recommend Tesla to others, has dropped from 8.2 out of 10 in 2023 to 4 out of 10 now. This is well past brand trouble. This is freefall. The Axios Harris poll, which ranks corporate reputation, shows Tesla dropping from 8th place in 2021 to 95th place in 2025, out of 100 companies. They now rank below Temu, below TikTok. Even Fox is rated higher. According to an EV Intelligence Report survey of over 3,000 US customers, 27% of Americans have a positive view of Tesla. 37% have a negative view. The company has more haters than fans. In Germany, remember the country where Tesla built a factory, 60% of consumers now have a negative view of the brand. Only 9% have a positive view. There is no recovering a market where 6 out of 10 people actively dislike you. So why has it become like this? Well, you know why.
I found that when I get involved in politics, it ends up badly. So then I'm like, probably shouldn't do that. I should do less of that, is my...
Elon Musk spent 2025 as a political figure. He ran Doge, costing the US billions as it gutted the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Consumer Financial Protection, and the Agency for Intentional Development. He endorsed the AfD, Germany's far-right party. He turned himself into one of the most polarizing figures on the planet. And it turns out that when you spend your days posting bullshit on your social media platform, alienating half of your potential customer base, endorsing extremist politicians, and inserting yourself into every cultural war you can find, people stop wanting to buy your cars, particularly when your cars cost $40,000 or more. You're not an impulse purchase, you're a considered decision. And a lot of people are considering whether they want to be seen in a Tesla anymore. The answer, increasingly, is 9. Here's what makes the future look worse. The Cybertruck, Tesla's big launch, the vehicle that was supposed to inject excitement into the lineup, is a commercial disaster. Sales in 2025 were 20,237 units, down 48% from 38,965 in 2024. The largest sales drop of any EV in America on a volume basis. Tesla's factory in Texas has a capacity to build 125,000 Cybertrucks per year. Musk once said that they'd produce 250,000 annually. They sold 20,000. Everyone who wanted a Cybertruck already bought one. There is no second wave coming. Meanwhile, Tesla just announced that they're killing the Model S and the Model X, the two vehicles that built the brand. The Model S, the car that made Tesla credible, that proved you could make a desirable electrical vehicle, discontinued, to free up factory space for Optimus robots. That's the pivot, that's the plan. Stop making the cars that generated the revenue put everything on robotaxis and humanoid robots that don't exist yet as a commercial product. And to fund the pivot, Tesla is planning to spend $20 billion in capital expenditure in 2026. That's more than double what they spent in 2025. $20 billion on products that currently generate zero revenue, while the products that actually make money continue to decline. If that sounds like a business strategy to you, I'd love to see what you consider a gamble. Let me tell you what happens next. Not what might happen, what the numbers say will happen. Q1 of 2026 is going to be ugly. The $7,500 of federal EV tax credits in America was eliminated at the end of September 2025, courtesy of Trump's big, beautiful bill. Tesla had a record Q3 because everyone rushed to buy before the credit disappeared. That demand was pulled forward. Now it's gone. Q4 already showed the impact. Deliveries dropped 16%. Q1 will be worse. There's no tax credit to juice the numbers anymore. There's no new model to generate excitement. There's just the same aging lineup at premium prices while the brand continues to crater. Europe will get worse. The Norway spike was artificial, buyers front-running the incentive change. That reverses in 2026. Germany isn't coming back either. France isn't coming back. The competition is getting stronger while Tesla's reputation gets weaker. China will become an even bigger problem for Tesla. Tesla hit a 3-year sales low in China in October 2025. BYD's overseas sales grew 150% in 2025. They're coming for everyone, and Tesla has nothing to compete with them on price.
No, God, no!
The brand will get worse. Musk isn't going to stop posting. He isn't going to stop involving himself in politics. He isn't going to suddenly become less controversial. Every day he remains the face of Tesla is another day potential customers decide that they'd rather buy a Hyundai. Or if you're American, I think you call them Hyundai or something. And here's the really dark part. Tesla's stock price doesn't reflect any of this. The company is still valuated at over $1 trillion. It's still the most valuable automaker on earth by a massive margin. The stock actually went up after the earnings call. Why? Because investors aren't betting on the car business anymore. They're betting on the AI business, the robotaxi business, the Optimus robot business. They're betting that Musk will somehow deliver on promises that he's been making for a decade. Full self-driving that works without human supervision. Promised since 2016. Still not here. 1 million robotaxis on the road. Promised in 2020. Still only available in small pilot programs in Texas and California. A sub $30,000 Tesla for the mass market. Promised repeatedly. Cancelled. The entire investment thesis is built on Musk delivering things he has consistently failed to deliver, while the actual business that generates actual revenue continues to shrink. At this point, reality catches up. It always does. So, let's bring this all in. Profit is down 46%, revenue declining for the first time ever, deliveries falling for the second straight year, brand value halved in 3 years, market share collapsing in Europe, getting overtaken by Chinese competitors globally, the Cybertruck flopping, the cheap car cancelled, the Model S and X discontinued. And the response? Spend $20 billion on robots and robotaxis while hoping the stock price holds. 2 years ago, Tesla was the undisputed king of the EV market, the company that made electric cars desirable, the company that was going to lead the transition to sustainable transport. Now they are a company bleeding market share while their CEO posts memes.
I am become meme.
A company whose customers are embarrassed to drive their cars. A company betting everything on a technological future that may never arrive while their present crumbles. Elon Musk is worth somewhere between 600 and 800 billion, depending on the day. Most of that is Tesla stock. Stock in a company that just posted its first ever revenue decline. Stock in a company that's losing customers, losing reputation, losing market share. The bet is that none of that matters, that the robots will save everything, that the robotaxis will materialize, that the AI pivot will work. Maybe it will. Musk has defied gravity before. But the numbers don't lie. And right now, the numbers say that Tesla is a company in decline, led by a man who's more interested in politics than products, selling yesterday's cars at tomorrow's prices while their competition races past. 10 times safer, 50% annual growth, 1 million robotaxis in 2020. The best product ever. That is what Elon Musk promises. A 46% profit collapse and a brand that's worth less than half of what it was 3 years ago is not that. That is what Elon Musk delivers.